Oh, hey folks, welcome back to Florida Food Forest. I hope you're having an awesome day and you weathered through that storm. Good. What I had was minimal damage compared to what a lot of people have. I see there's some houses that are still flooded. That's just, it's horrible. I just had a bunch of trees crash down, piled up. I got a little bit of a widowmaker here, so that's going to come down. And just the tops of those trees there. And then I had two trees that really got a lean to them from the storm. So I don't know what's going to go on with those, but I have to cut them down. That's unfortunate. They're big shade makers. Ice cream bean, just about perfect shape. It had a couple little branches like right there. Popped off it, but man, this thing is a trooper for sure. Nice and flexible. Weathered that storm without a problem. Thankfully no trees come crashing down on it, but we can see that one there got torn up pretty good right next to it. Big old lychee did just fine, not a problem. Hopefully I can get some fruit out of that here coming up. That'd be nice. The pink wampies did pretty good. They got bent around. I had to trim some of it up because I couldn't get in the back. Little path right here had fallen over, and I trimmed off a couple of leaves or branches to straighten that back up. And that was about it over here. The papaya did really good. I expected this one to get knocked down and destroyed, but it stood, surprisingly. There used to be a big tree right there. Oh, you can see some of the stump. There used to be a big tree right here. Not anymore, so now there's lots of sun coming in through here. The bananas right here did just fine. These are all praying hands bananas right through here. I had trimmed them up so they wouldn't break and blow away. But they did pretty good. All right. Another top to the tree busted off and flew over the neighbor's yard. That sucked. The big one that was right here fell over and crushed her cars and trucks, man. That was horrible. Now there was standing water all through here. It was quite deep. I'm on the side of a hill on my property here. It's all standing water. The katuk was fine. The Dr. Moy ginger didn't seem to mind it. That banana wasn't a big fan of it. It got blown over and all the leaves turned yellow, so I trimmed it up and hopefully I get it to come back. The plant I expected to blow over and break didn't. I mean, it got stripped of its leaves for sure, but it's still hanging on. I had tied it to the fence because the first hurricane that came through knocked it over, but not this time. Like I said, this was all flooded back here. Giant passion fruit, not a problem. Where I'm standing was almost knee deep in water. There was a cactus. Sorry, buddy, you're gone. But this cactus seems to be holding on. This was quite deep through here. One of the Texas black persimmons got blown over, but I think I'm just going to leave it growing like that rather than straighten it up. I'll let it do its thing and see what happens. I don't know, what you think? The pawpaws that I expected to get defoliated, no, not a problem. They weathered that just fine. They're on their way out pretty much for the rest of the year. They put on a lot of growth this year. Hopefully next year I'll get them to flower and fruit more. Squirrel got the only fruit I had last year. Little buggers. The cassava got even more trashed. That first tour before the Hurricane Milton came through, these were already laying down, and now they're just pretty much just flat. I'm just going to leave them there. It's almost harvest time anyways. I am so glad I chose to grow this old hammy-eye bamboo. These came in real handy, and I'll show you why. See, the bananas that I was trying to save, this black banana here, that had fallen over almost completely. And so I had that old hammy-eye bamboo, and I made those. At first, I was just taking it, and I was splitting it down in the middle and trying to make a Y, and then propping up the banana. But then it was way unstable. It was falling over. So this is what I could come up with, is I just tied two pieces together and made, you know, I guess what, an A-frame or something like that. I don't know, X-frame, whatever you would call that. But hey, it works. It's stable. If I get some more winds coming in, hopefully not another hurricane, but it should hold. Now the hurricane did blow off all the flowers in the banana bush, which is, it's unfortunate for sure. I still have it way better than a lot of other people have it. Like I said, there's still people that their houses are still flooded here a week and a half later, almost 2 weeks later. Their houses are still flooded. It's just horrible. 301 was blocked off south of me. Then there was a sinkhole a little bit closer to me that had formed. Like crazy stuff. But over closer to the river, houses are still flooded. It's really sad. Most of the seedlings did pretty good. Some of them got crushed by branches and stuff. You can still see some in there. But they did pretty good. Hopefully you can hear me over these guys. They're so loud. They're so loud. And here's another fruiting banana I had to prop up. But hopefully that should be fine. It was fruiting. Hopefully not enough roots got broken or anything, and it still gets to fruit all the way. That'd be all right. Yeah, avocado did just fine. No problems at all. And here was almost a catastrophe. Man, that was close. Big old tree branch fell down and hit the chicken coop, and then hit this longan too. Tore off the whole side of it here. But it's still growing good. An inch over to the left, it would have been all over except for the crying. But I think it will make a comeback and be just fine. See, I'm getting some new growth already on it. So, all right, that was close. And I still have that raspberry jam fruit. All right. I expected this to get messed up too, but it didn't, thankfully. Hopefully I get to try it out before something steals it. Well, I don't want to try it out after something steals it either, but hopefully I get to try it. I was worried about the Java almonds, but I guess there was no need to be worried about them. They did just fine. Not a problem at all. So far, the only problem with these are the winters. They do not like cold weather, or at least freezing weather, at all. I don't know what I'm going to do with them when they get bigger. This guy is gotten pretty big. So, I don't know. It's a little bit harder to protect them in the wintertime, but it's growing really good. I've seen pictures of these when they're giant trees, and it looks so amazing. But we'll see. Well,
if you're like me, you like to watch more and more videos about fruit trees. Well, this is a cool spot to share your opinions, suggestions, and ideas. Subscription and likes are totally free and 100% refundable. Canceled anytime. So let's get this community going. Let's go!
And through all the hurricane, rain, and crazy wind, the papayas have all come out. These guys are pretty cool. I've been making all my labels with just pop cans. Well, I got sparkling water now. I don't drink pop, but I got some pretty cool papayas that have come in, and they're starting to grow. I just started community pots. I don't think they like to be transferred very much, so I'm gonna let these get a little bit bigger and then transfer them in the maybe a permanent home or a much bigger pot, individual. But I got these from Aloha Seeds or Golden Valley Seed. Pretty cool spot. I've always had really good luck with them. So if you're looking for some papayas that aren't like a red lady, which is, in my opinion, disgusting, check out Aloha Seed. This right here, the Noni #1s, fantastic. I can crack that bad boy open and just start eating it there. I'll be covered in all the papaya. I'll look like a 6-year-old trying to eat it, but I don't care. These things are wonderful. Really good papaya. So hopefully these ones here are just as good. If not, the dogs and chickens and geese don't care. They love papaya. No complaints. And because I had some extra pieces from that bamboo, old Hamiai bamboo, I decided to start a project I've been working on. I've been training these black sapotes just to go straight. No side branches or nothing, just straight. So I have it bent down and over and up. So I got a whole bunch just like that. Then I have a center one. What my idea is to graft all those other ones together with this center one and make benches on the parts that are bent over. And once these are all grafted together, hopefully this will be a bit bigger. I'm going to take and cut that and then put a round table hanging from that trunk. That's the idea. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but if I have success, I'll put it in the channel. But I'm going to graft all those together so it'll be a big archway over a sitting area, and then like my table is hopefully going to be mounted to here, and then call it good. I think that'd be a cool idea. What you think? And the giant passion fruit did pretty good. No problems. The worst thing that this thing's had is butterflies going after it, but I've transferred them to other passion fruits that I'm not too worried about, that I have an overabundance of. You can go over there and eat those passion fruits, leave this giant one alone. But a tip got busted off and I stuck it in the ground, wondered if I'd have any success, and that's probably a definite no. Probably a definite no. That makes sense. I took some banana flowers and I threw around the sabara, jabuticaba. I don't know if that's going to do anything, but yeah, it'd be cool if I got this to fruit early, huh? This was all flooded back here. This was almost knee deep back here in this section, and the jabos did just fine. And this was all swamping through here. I mean, it's still mush back there, but everything seems to be just fine. That Kenna still had floating off there. The finger sap was floating off to the side over there. They did fine though. No problems. Jabo's got a couple fruits in it. This was all underwater over here as well. That was crazy how much water we had. Oh my gosh. I said, hopefully you watching that, if you're in here in Florida and had to deal with that, I hope you're all right. And the top of this black banana was torn off again, but it's come back again. This was torn off a couple days ago, but it's coming back. All right. This tiny abiu was underwater. I mean underwater. This was almost waist deep back here. This was underwater. Right now it's just knee high, just a little bit past knee high. Totally underwater. And the same with this seashore mangosteen. This was underwater, no problems. And the same with this one. I got this from Rebel Point Farms several years ago. This was almost completely underwater. This is just past my height, my waist. So that was a little bit poking out of the water. Just fine though. Look at that. Just amazing. And the dragon fruits did just fine. They had some tree branches fall down on top of them, but nothing major to crush anything. Doing just fine. I didn't think these were going to blow anywhere. These are sand that I have in there, and I did have some earthworm castings and compost sitting on top, so we'll bleed down through that sand. But I don't have compost through the whole thing. It's mostly just sand and ash down there, no biochar. But I've been going through on some of the other ones and filling up these tubes too with sand. So hopefully maybe I can poke a hole in there and have the roots grow in there. I don't know. What do you think? And here's some of the tree that fell on the house. I don't notice any damage on the house, but I'm paying close attention to it. And that scared me. I was sitting there watching the radar. It's getting windy and kaboom! Holy guacamole. And that same tree that hit the house crushed this guava. I ripped that right off there. But other than that, the guava's doing just fine. It's getting some new growth on there. I don't water up here very much. I think I did once or twice last year when I was moving around some mulberries. So it doesn't grow quite as fast as what it probably should. But maybe this year it survived enough cold winters and trees falling on it that maybe I can take better care of it this year and get it to fruit. I don't know, at least make it happier. All right. And all the anonas in here look like they're doing just fine. These guys are super flexible, so I wasn't expecting much of those. Maybe some leaves torn off, but see, those are really flexible, so they did just fine. Really packed through here though. The only one that had anything done to it was these guys here. This was, I don't know, maybe 6 foot tall, but I had to take off some of these side branches because it was just laying down here on the ground. So I trimmed those branches off and it straightened itself back up. So hopefully that does pretty good. Well, the Indian gooseberries got bent over quite a bit. It snapped. Well, there was a tree branch that fell down and snapped these off, so I just cleaned up the break on that. But these are getting pretty big. I got to figure out how I'm going to protect this better in wintertime. These do not like frost at all. But it's a cool plant. You can come out here and touch it any time of the day. I should get one of those temperature readers because this feels a lot cooler than any other plants. If I go to touch something else, yeah, it doesn't feel as cool, but if I come back and touch this, it's a lot cooler. Maybe it's just in my head, but it feels a lot cooler. And obviously the orange berry or ginberry, that did just fine. These things, I've become pretty good at growing these, so I got them planted all around the property. They do just fine. Still fruiting even. Delicious. Well, the macadamias here got blown over almost completely. So I'm going to come back with some more bamboo and prop this back up to where it should be. I hope it's going to be all right. Didn't break too many roots when it was pushed over. We'll find out. The long guy did just fine. No problems at all on that. I had went through shortly before the storm and cut the tips off of it to try to get more branches, more tips, more fruit. Happier I am. Oh yeah. And this guava is doing just fine. This is one I grew back from a root. I had transplanted some other ones because I had them way too close together, and so this one came back from the roots, which is pretty amazing. Those other ones are giants. This one here is about 6 foot tall. No problems at all. So the stuff I experienced during the storm is minimal compared to a lot of other people. Yeah, I have 5 or 6 leaners. I got some tops busted off of trees, which is dangerous. I got to figure out a way to get those cut up, but way better than what a lot of other people have. Look at this rose apple. That looks just happy. I want me some rose apple. That'd be nice if I can get some fruits. Savannah cherry, this was all flooded out here, and look at that, flowering. So it didn't seem to mind that at all. Even the nam nam tree did just fine. It was very deep water over here. No problems to report on this. I expected the best, and that looks like exactly what I got. Really cool. These guys grow half the speed of slow. I don't know their scientific name, but if you look up nam nam tree, you'll see it on your internet search browser. All right. These are really cool. They get fruits in the trunks. I've only seen one video of someone that had these. I'd like to see more. Ceylon gooseberry was completely covered up. Did just fine. Careful where you plant these, man. Look at the thorns on that. That'll get you with its geeters. And these big nays back here, not phased at all. These were completely covered in water, which is really awesome. Look at all the new growth they're getting on them. I mean, these things, this was completely covered with water. Not a problem. My sun drops back here are Eugenia Victoriana. These were mostly covered up, and look at this, it's just fine. Purple star apple. This was covered up. Pot was covered up, but this is way up here. It's amazing how much water we got, but this is doing just fine. Which is, it's good because this thing is always thirsty, it seems. Oh, Patanga tuba was covered up. Not a problem. So I just like to know this stuff that can handle all that deep water and not get phased by it. Brazilian milk fruit. No problem at all. It got knocked over a little bit, but when the ground dried up a little bit, I pushed it back up and around and got it straightened back up. I'm thinking this white sapote must have been from a side air layer of the tree because this does not grow tall, it just grows sideways. This was completely submerged. Doesn't look the happiest, but it's still alive. And this grape is getting its grow on. It's a wild looking plant. There's a stem on that. That's pretty cool. V-E-L-D. Grape. Oh. It's growing a lot. It took a while to get its grow on, but once it did, I mean, it took off here. All right, folks, the dog says that's it. It's hot out here. Let's go inside. Have a good day. Bye-bye.